Brown chicken, brown cow, sexual healing. I am super excited about healing lately because you may or may not know, as the star of Sexploration with Monika, the reason I started a sex positive feminist podcast called Sexploration with Monika is because I have experienced some non-consensual activities in my day. And that's why I was so excited to start a radio show about consent. So the healing practices so far that I have experienced are the Bruno Gruning healing, which, you kind of do this like tune in twice a day. And maybe you can see, do you have any of the information from the Bruno Gruning Circle of Friends website, Paul?
I can look that up, but that's Bruno right there for you guys.
So that's Bruno Gruning. And so I check in with him for really, it's only about 5 minutes twice a day. And the other healing practices I'm doing, I also do some meditation and some yoga, but I also do this thing called the healing codes. And the healing codes are, so I'm going to kind of do a little demo for you, but you should really see the demo from Melissa Zosky. It's from YouTube. She does this really great demo where, she shows you how to do the healing codes. And I'm going to take my glasses off here. So you start like just a bridge before you, just right on the bridge of your nose. And you're not actually touching the space because you want to be about just 3 inches, or two inches above, just like, you just want to kind of hover over it. So it's kind of like Reiki, so that you're almost touching your face, but then you're hovering above it. And you do that for 50 seconds. And then you switch to your Adam's apple. So Adam's apple right there. And then you do just your jaw right there, your jaw. Do you remember me doing the healing codes with you?
Yeah, I absolutely do.
Yeah, and then your temple right there. And it's not really, it's kind of awkward, especially when you're trying to be on the radio at the same time. But, it actually, I had a really interesting experience when I first started doing it because, you kind of like bring up all of these memories. And then, what you're supposed to be focusing on as you're doing any of these healing practices is, your gratitude or a positive memory. So just really focusing on something that makes you feel good. And another thing that I'm really excited about is my chiropractor is really, he doesn't just do like, not the traditional chiropractor kind of approach. It's Azure Sky Chiropractic in Oakland, and he does muscle testing. And, then you think about, how you feel when you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm over that trauma. And then he does muscle testing to see if you're really over it, right? And you can actually see in the muscles because the body keeps the score. That's actually a best-selling book. The Body Keeps the Score. So you certainly look that up if you want to learn more about healing from trauma. But basically, your physical body, even though you think you've healed or even though you think you're over it, your body still, has an imprint of all the experiences in your life. And so that's why, maybe we need to unlearn some of our early traumas or triggers. So, it's healing that goes deeper than just what you think that you've healed from. Because, of course I think, because I was a survivor, 30 years ago that made me, start Sexploration with Monika, like now I feel like I'm totally empowered and, I'm totally healed. But maybe I'm going to find out tomorrow, actually, that there are still things that are in my cells, that there are other ways of undoing the trauma that is hidden inside our cells. And I imagine, maybe there's some trouble or healing that you can do for like G-spot or like all sorts of somatic healing practices. I mean, I have had Tallulah Sulis on Sexploration with Monika before. She is also kind of a somatic sexologist. So there's so many things that, I love to explore, sex positive things here on Sexploration with Monika. Thank you so much for being my token straight guy over the years, Paul.
Thank you for letting me go along for the ride, man. I've been having a blast, Monika, so I appreciate you.
And your new studio here?
I love it. edgestudiosonline.com.
Yay! So thank you so much for joining us. I'm looking forward we're thinking about having a live broadcast from this really interesting, sustainable store on Valencia Street. So you can learn more about that here. Also, what is her name?
Eleanor from Dance Naked Productions. She's a sex-positive feminist.
I'm a sex-positive feminist, too. And Eleanor, we are so looking forward to having you on Sexploration with Monika. And thank you so much for listening. And thanks for joining us here live today. Sexual healing, baby.